Oh, should I Ryan delete that 5-minute video? Or you can later. You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Is it possible to share screen on the Zoom so I could see where you are live as well, or will that mess things up? I can just follow my own computer too, but wait, it's a different link.
Oh, is it?
Because that link is the old video.
Oh,
I'll send you the new one. It's this one.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, cool. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's hit it. All right, welcome everybody. This is the 2055 Skyline Baseball League season preview podcast. This is one of your hosts, Mikey, well known around the league as a very angry man, and I'm joined here by our 2054 SCS, our 2054 Western Conference winner, AJ, who manages the White Sox.
Thank you for that framing. Nice to be here.
So today we're going to be doing a season preview. You guys know the drill. We've done it before. We've seen it before. Usually it's Ryan and well, now Detroit Jason, which is so weird to get used to. I also can't figure out in Slack when the new GM posts. I always think it's Jason. It's just so weird to get used to. But today it's going to be AJ and I. We're going to try to make it a good one. Our SCS winner last season was the Miami Marlins, so I think we're going to go ahead and start in the Atlantic Division. And we'll be starting right away with Miami, your defending Skyline champions. So, I mean, one thing that stood out to me last season was how this team was crazy deep. I mean, you played them in the SCS, AJ. You probably felt that. It felt like they got some pretty nuts performances out of, like, some, I would say, elderly arms, like Hayden Nelson, who's returning again this year. And his bars still look pretty darn good. I mean, they got, a stellar 200 innings out of 36-year-old Hayden Nelson last year.
Who was saved by this version.
Right, yeah, it looks like the first season on 25, he goes to Cleveland and he resurrects his career, right? And then Miami, huge season.
And he was a closer. His changeup when I had him died. Like, he started for me at first, then he became an elite closer because his changeup went to 35. And now it's at 50, and last season was at 55. So the new version resurrected the changeup, and he's been a great starting pitcher. Love to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, not only resurrected, but, like, pushed him to new heights. Even as a starter with you, I would say he never, even as a starter, in his
2046, he did.
2046. Yeah, 2046 was his best year. 2045 was also a really good year. But that's just 2 seasons, and both were upended by his age 35 and 36 season, which is pretty crazy. That's the game switch for you. Random shit happens. And he also had, I mean, I can't see him right now, but Mariscal, who was like 39, 38, also holding up like a champ. I feel like when I had Mariscal like a decade ago, he was already old, and like he's just pitched another decade, which is nuts. Um, but yeah, I mean, this team is super deep. Like Calder is amazing. This Mocadlo guy, he is a he's just a crazy defender. It's unfortunate that he's fragile, but like he can play anywhere around the diamond. I mean, he's probably most he's correctly deployed. I would say at shortstop, where he probably provides a fair bit of defensive value, but he could also play center field in a pinch, right? 70 outfield range. So a really valuable piece there. I think
A sweet contract.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. Oh yeah, I mean that's just the game being bad, I guess. I mean, I guess this guy's never really been that good until recently, but
Yeah.
I think
But he is
bars wise,
fragile.
bars wise, this guy brings a lot to the table when healthy. I mean, he's probably no, he's not even that injury prone. He's just fragile. But I think Ramsburg had a huge season last year. Yeah, another guy kind of not mid 30s, but early 30s who I guess has been holding up really well throughout his entire career. Kind of an underrated career here. But he had a huge season last year. Sam rewarded him with another 2-year deal to keep him around. But I feel like it's more of the same with this team. Josh Roberts, Michael Clark had a nuts season last year when he was healthy, like an absurd season. He hit 350, all the extra base hits you could possibly imagine. Looks like this profile is back and super powerful in this game in 25. I don't know if you felt like
Yes,
that too.
definitely. That's
Um,
just drafted a player that looks exactly like that, but at shortstop. Because his version's good. And you got Visser back,
right,
who I was
Visser,
in a
another
bidding
good
war
bat.
with. He was wanting to accept my offer, and Sam swooped in at the last second and barely beat it, which is always fun.
And this team may be a little bit pro, susceptible to left-handed pitching, but honestly, we're kind of just
Well, he
nitpicking.
platoons if you look at his lineup versus lefties.
Okay, gotcha.
So he
There's a
has
lot
a
going on here.
bunch
Yeah.
of platoons.
Yeah, no, and this guy, I mean, this guy looks really fucking good too. Like, if you get this guy 5 more contacts, he might be a top 7, top 5 maybe shortstop. Like, am I trolling? Like, that's 60 power, 65 I. I don't know. Maybe
Who are
with
you
the
looking
pit,
at? Make sure you call it out because
Kenville.
the
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
thing's delayed. Yeah. Yeah,
Christian
no, I
Kenville.
like him. He's platooning right now, which is interesting. But
I'm curious if this guy
yeah,
will be a really good shortstop or just like okay because he only has 60 position rating. But yeah, this
but even
odd.
at second, if you get 30 home runs out of a second baseman or shortstop, that's a win
Yeah,
in my book.
yeah, I agree. I mean, with like average to above average defense, 30 home runs from a position like that is a game changer.
And in this version, that's 80 walks.
Billy Ott, really good arm too. Side armor, fly ball, but holding up well. I mean, this team is just in a similar boat as last year. Super deep. Maybe
Yeah,
the bullpen kind of sucks, but I think everybody's bullpen sucks in this game. It's just kind of the way it works. Uh,
yeah.
I
And what he did is interesting with his pitching strategy. I think he's similar to me, doesn't look at movement anymore and looks at the breakdown between BABIP and home run rate. He's already in a park that doesn't give up a lot of home runs, and every single pitcher he has, except one, is 55 or greater home run rate, which is that's a lot in one team to not have many 50s or 45s for home run. So he's keeping it in the park, which is going to rely on some good defense,
yeah,
which I'm sure he has.
I mean keeping it in the park seems to be the name of the game on this version, especially that first. I mean that first season when we switched in 2053, it was just like an absolute load of baloney with the way the homers jumped up. Um, it's weird. Movement, honestly, I'm not sure I like how the new game does it. It's just kind of I don't know, 50 movement being like unplayable. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the home run rate and pitcher BABIP. I have not been as deeply looking at that as maybe some people like yourself and Sam. But movement is hard to get a hold of. Like I've got 60 movement guys giving up like 1.5 homers per nine. It's just it's a tricky world out there. But back to the Marlins. This guy's gonna be up this year, probably call up day, top 25 spec, durable. He's gonna be a stud. So the pipeline's not even empty for Sam. Really deep team, probably a World Series contender once again.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to say there.
Cool. And I think they go in order of the standings last year. I don't know how to do that on the game.
Let me see if I could link history index, East.
Oh, I
See
click
if
on
that
the
works.
East. Okay.
Yeah, and then that will bring it up.
Got
So
it. So
next
second
up
place
would be
was Philadelphia. So the Phillies have are taking Negulescu, it looks like, to the end of his career. Awesome career he's had. Swiped 95 bags at the ripe age of 35 last year. Still a really good player. I think Trent has to be pretty stoked. I believe his original deal was a 4-year deal, and this is a new contract. Yeah. But he has to be pretty stoked at how those 4 years went. One MVP caliber season, maybe two MVP caliber seasons, honestly, and a couple of solid 4 WAR years with like plus defense. So that's pretty awesome. This guy's a pretty big component of that team. Besides that, the big addition he made this offseason was Kirkendall and Stapleton. So revamping his
and
middle.
Dax Moore.
Yeah, right. And looking at the pitching, Dax Moore. Dax Moore only being a 50 overall. Did he dev down? What happened? Oh.
Yeah.
Did you see this, AJ? That's the question.
I did not. And what's interesting is the stuff, movement, and control didn't change. It's just the overall changed. At least on my screen.
So did
I'm
you
not
see
sure what you
this
see.
dev down in October? The velo drop and the stuff drop. That's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
that's last season.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's 35. That's the magic age when starters go to die.
well, yeah, except
But he's
if
a
you're
ground
Aiden Nelson,
baller.
I guess.
So, but Dax Moore's a ground baller, and so he'll still play fine.
I'm a big fan of Kirkendall. Durable too. That must have been a absolute relief.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess you could probably tell from here, but that's cool that he's durable. He's on a. I was hoping the deal was a little better, but like this is one of the best position players in the game, so that's good.
Yeah. Two-time MVP.
Two-time MVP, hanging in there with a plush shortstop. I mean, he only played 95 games at shortstop last year. Where did he play the other? Did he DH?
No, he played second base. Played 64 games at second.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, to me, this profile screams third base, but I think
Correct.
the value is probably at second and shortstop because, for whatever reason, people don't like put up crazy ZRs at third. I've noticed, even if you're like a stud fielder. So I think this makes sense. I'm not a big Stapleton guy. I don't know about other people, but I mean, if I'm Portland Tyler, I'm pretty happy about landing a second. Am I making that up?
I don't remember.
I feel like
I mean, this profile, we were just saying, this profile does play well in the version.
yeah, that's true.
He's going to bat 300. Not going to get on base more than that. And I wonder if it looks like Trent didn't. I would send this person to a stealing camp the next 2 years. See if you get that 60 up to 70 and make him a lot more valuable as a second baseman.
Yeah, so one thing I'm noticing about this team is they're pretty stacked at, maybe not stacked, but they're strong at premium positions.
Yeah.
I mean, this catcher might kind of be interesting too. I'm curious to see how this guy plays. Strom Odom, 65 frame, kind of. This guy might suck actually.
Yeah, I don't like Strom.
But so this pitching staff, Max Rea, this Panico, whatever, Venezuelan, I don't know. Dax Moore, Wachter. How's Wachter been on the new game? Kind of struggling as expected. But I don't love this pitching staff. Honestly, that might just be me. Does he have someone injured? No, I feel like this
No.
pitching staff might be pretty a little weaker than you'd like from a true championship level team. But this team, we haven't looked through all the East teams yet. But this team right away, it's like it feels like a wild card team. Or I don't think this team's gonna win the division, honestly. And I think they'll probably win like 90-ish. But it's a wild card team.
I think I need to see more. I think it's in contention for a wild card. I don't know if they have the depth.
Got one top 100 spec, Walker Matthews in rookie ball, a youngster. So they don't. I would say, this guy's kind of.
And he's traded a lot of picks.
Yeah, this guy's kind of major league ready. I don't think he's got any more help coming. And if I'm not really aware of how many picks he's traded, but if it's like you said and he doesn't have easy avenues to improve, he might be kind of in a no man's land of wild card contention, but not a great way to get better. That's kind of the feel I get.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So with that, we can move on to the third place team, which were the Atlanta Braves, the always making the playoffs Atlanta Braves. Let's take a peek at what we got here. You want to start us off with this one?
Sure. Let's see. Looking at the position rankings, I know it doesn't mean everything, but doesn't look good. The infield and outfield, outside of center field and first base and catcher. Eric Alvarez, that's steal of a contract. I didn't realize he was wrecked, which is interesting.
I loved this Sienna move. I thought this was an awesome move. I wonder if he can hold up in the outfield. That's kind of the question with this guy. He had one season.
Oh, where did that defense come from? Was that a lab?
No, I think he always had 50 range, I believe, but he had a season in 2053 where Fresno David played him like a full year in the outfield, and he was just an absolute disaster.
Yeah, -13 ZR.
So if this guy can hold up, I feel like there's a lot of surplus value that could be picked up from here. But regardless, I like this bat profile a lot. This bat profile reminds me of Virgil Towns, who's like a 5'6" WAR player.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here.
Janes has taken a huge step up on the new game. Also, apparently steals 70 bases now. That's cool, I guess.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that was the Carla trade, which we'll talk about Carla later, because he's been very up and down on the new version. Had a great year last year. But still shocked that he traded Carla. But James is great.
This Freely contract has been wonderful for him. This guy.
I hate these profiles of these
random
lefty
free agent signing. Very good, very shrewd move to get this guy.
This game loves this profile, the high movement, high control, and no elite pitches.
Runs this profile like nobody else. He's got another guy, Jonathan Watt, who he looks like he picked up recently, that throws 85 miles per hour.
Side armor.
Yeah, if this guy works, he's got his philosophy down pat. I don't know. I feel like this is in a lot of ways a similar team to last year. Am I accurate in that assessment? Was Stuckey on this team last year? No, Stuckey is a
No,
D-Rich guy through and through, though.
yeah, I don't know. This team could go either way. I'm like looking at it. I don't know what I think. I know
Yeah.
these profiles work in this version, but a lot of like over half his staff is 45 stuff,
So, I mean, we don't have
which
much of a
can work
sample
as his
size,
defense
but
elite.
if his defense is
Yeah.
good, that
I mean,
could
right now
work.
he's 16th in zone
I
rating,
mean,
and
I
that
don't
was
know.
just
I
one
mean,
sim.
Billy
One
Scheimer,
sim.
40, 45 defense. The infield, I would imagine's good with Lofton, and I mean, Lofton's just like not a good player at the end of the day. Uh,
But an Ironman shortstop, throw him in the 9 hole. It's fine.
yeah,
Um,
no, this team feels a little worse than Philly on paper. But that being
agreed.
said, there is something to be said about just what D-Rich does with teams. He kind of just like no matter what happens gets them to 90 wins, and I would say, based on historical precedent, I expect him to get this squad to that roughly that same point again, one way or another.
I think there's some moves that still need to be made. I see this as a mid 80s to high 80s win team.
This guy's gonna be really good. I'm looking at his prospect pipeline now. The DH, Lonergan, couple youngsters. I mean, I think D-Rich had his first round pick this year. Maybe that's just completely made up. Uh,
Yeah.
but
All right.
yeah, so Atlanta, kind of a wild card team as well. We'll see
Yeah,
what
they'll be
happens.
in it.
Next up is gonna be
Is it Baltimore or Memphis?
it's Memphis.
Memphis.
Man, I gotta stop clicking on this link. It's slowing me down. Memphis. I feel like I associate with really freaking deep offenses, and I'm just scrolling through right now, and it kind of looks like more of the same.
Yeah, this is a
No, this is just a good team.
solid offensive team. I haven't looked at pitching yet, but I like what I see. I mean,
Look,
Oliver's been there for a while,
yeah,
been very
Oliver
consistent,
had like a
fragile.
did he have an MVP year at some point? Yeah, in 2051 he had 7 WAR,
Yeah,
170 OPS plus, absolutely dog year. One guy I think is interesting on this, excuse me, on this team is Atwell, because he's got insane bars, and I feel like the only thing holding him back is the the low movement. Whereas on the old game, I mean, this guy with 80 stuff, 45 control, 80 stuff, 45 movement, 60 control. Oh man, that would feast. But so this guy's
yeah.
kind of an interesting one in that he's been able to kind of fight past the lower movement and only a 50 overall and hold on strong. I know Bork's been like very good since he's come here. Also an Iron Man. Um, this is a
Yeah,
good 1 through 4 in the rotation. This is a good playoff team. Honestly, this team
I
feels
might
to
like this
me.
more than the Phillies.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This team to
Yeah,
me on paper feels closer to Miami than it does to Philadelphia and Atlanta.
agreed. I
I'm a
agree.
I'm a
And
fan of
then
this third baseman, for Fajardo.
Fajardo.
I'm a fan of him. Good bars,
Yeah,
probably
I
positive
love that
defense too. Yeah.
Monty Baker is getting a full season in center field in the new version. We'll see how that works. Um, I'm curious. I mean, he should be able to play center field, I think, in
Yeah,
this
it's
version.
65
65, 80,
position
80.
rating makes me think of.
Yeah,
And this is just a good player. Always has been like a very toolsy guy.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean Memphis is deep. Let's take a quick look at their pipeline as well. Top 10 spec right here from fourth round a few years ago. I mean, I feel like, of course, I don't know
That does not
Memphis's
look
name.
like a top 10 spec, though.
Corey. I feel like Corey has had quite a bit of the mid to late round development that doesn't get talked about because, I mean, he doesn't really exist in Slack or anything. So, but yeah, so this is a good team. I'd say
Yeah.
this is the
And
second.
all his top four specs are 22, 23, so they'll be coming soon.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and move on to Baltimore, Yort Labs team.
Yeah.
And I clicked the wrong link again like a bum. So Yort Lab has Sheldon Self up, which is pretty cool. He had a good rookie campaign last year. Such a fun player profile. Reminds me of like,
Yeah.
maybe Archer Carroll, Hadley Smart, those type of guys. Spicer, right? Spicer with a
Yeah.
little more pop. Then he's got, I don't know. I mean, this lineup looks. This lineup, I would say looks solid, but I definitely also see room to grow. It's a pretty young lineup for the most part. Yeah, I don't know where he got a lot of these guys. Yort Lab's only been on Baltimore for what, 2 seasons? Is that right?
That sounds right. I like this Josh Thomason guy.
Yeah,
Where'd he
I
come
don't know
from?
if this
Oh
was
my God.
I don't know if this was a Yort Lab pick or no, it must have been
2023.
2053 because that's when Zach
That's when
quote
Zach left.
unquote won the World Series.
Yeah. No, this is a good pick. I really like this guy.
Yeah, and I'm noticing a lot of guys with power. I think this lineup.
He's a lefty who could hit lefties.
And then this guy he gets from a trade
He has no lefty splits, essentially.
for Christopher
That's
James.
pretty cool.
Christopher James is still unsigned at age 37. I mean, you gotta like that return for a rental. No, this
Yeah.
this is a very good move. I don't know if that's just a hindsight thing. It looks like this guy was good last year too, so really good move from Yort Lab. I know it's a DH, but everybody needs a 65 power guy in the lineup. Yeah, let's take a look at the pitching
Yeah.
staff.
Let's see what we got here.
I'm a big fan of this Eccles guy. I know he's sidearm. That's kind of maybe the only thing. Yeah, never mind. I'm not as big of a fan, but
He's sidearm, but his splits aren't bad because he has the fork and the change and the cutter. So his splits aren't bad. I only see the stuff split. The movement and controls the same.
yeah,
35 stuff. 35 stamina.
35
So Dax
stam. I
Moore.
think 35 stam works on this new game as a starter. You just have to like 85 pitch
Yeah.
count him.
He is fragile though, so I hope
Right.
he's pitch counting him. And he hasn't played well ever. He's got
Yeah, even in
career
the minors.
Well, he's a career 6.21 ERA in Sky, but
Right.
yeah, we'll see. I don't like their number 5 starter
I think.
or number 4.
I mean, I don't even.
He needs to improve this rotation a lot.
I don't think.
Um,
I think Max Uren is pretty much useless on the new game too. To be honest.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, this. I don't really feel like Yort Lab is looking to compete right now. I mean, he's got a couple of decent bullpen pieces.
yeah, but his middle relief is a joke.
So let's
That's
take,
like a
it feels like this
double A
lineup will
middle relief.
grow over the next year or so. Let's say year or two. What Yort Lab's gonna need to do next is find
Pitching.
ways to add a lot of pitching, so that once his lineup is clicking on all cylinders, he's got an all-around squad.
Yeah, I agree. I think his lineup could contend for a wild card, but his pitching cannot, and his defense is atrocious. I don't know if you looked at that. Second base, third base, shortstop.
Okay, yeah, second base
He-
sucks, third base
He can't,
blows.
especially with his pitching staff. He
Oh
can't.
boy, no, this
compete,
shortstop
and
is a
he's-
troll job.
This is probably a 75 win team.
Yeah,
Right
no,
now.
I think he might win like 70, low 70s.
Yeah.
I would just move this Powell guy to second base. He might blow there, but at least he'll be manageable and just like get a bot shortstop with no bat, like a 70 range
Yeah.
guy. Because there's no point in playing this Carter guy at second. That's just
No,
this guy
he's not a
sucks.
Sky player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a quad A player at best. But Okay.
I was gonna say double A, but yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
that
26, perfect for double A.
last in the
Um,
last. Oh, did you have something else?
Virginia.
Go ahead.
No, we're good.
Yeah, last is Virginia, and I gotta step away for 1 second. So if you could start us off, that'd be good.
Okay. Um, Virginia, what were they last year? 59 wins, coming off a 60-win season. They haven't had more than 80 wins since 47, and that's when they had 80. The last time they were a contender was 45 when they won the SCS over yours truly somehow. Um, Looking at this lineup, sorry for folks on the stream if things aren't moving. Cunningham looks like a great young player. He is fragile, unfortunately, um, but this is the number one spec in the game. And it's interesting that he's up on the first day, which is kind of a curious strategy. Maybe he would be angry because it doesn't look like this team is trying to compete necessarily. I don't hate the lineup, but it doesn't look like a playoff contending lineup. Let's see here. Any other young players to call out? He has Ace Hill up. He's been up for two seasons. Wow. He's only 23. He looks like a really good second baseman. Has the speed. Defense looks good. Solid bat overall. So I like him. The catcher they have just doesn't play defense. Really good bat, but needs to send him to some labs. And it looks like he has not been to any labs. So would recommend doing that if possible. That is Robbie Baum.
Okay,
See there.
I'm back. Let me show
You're
off
back.
the. I know Virginia's got the number one spec. I don't want to let the viewers down and not show this
Oh, I
guy
already
off.
spoke about it, but yeah, show him off.
Yeah, this guy's
It is
insane.
I was saying
He's
it's
fragile.
upsetting.
No.
It's fragile, right? It's so
No, that
upsetting for the
sucks.
number one spec.
Yeah, he needs to
Um,
play at most in a. Oh, this guy's gonna be really fragile. He needs to be in a corner. If a corner, right? You don't even bother with this guy in center
I don't know
field.
why he's in center field right now, and I would actually, this may be a hot take, I would
DH?
teach him,
Oh,
no, teach
first
him
base.
first base. He'd be
Okay.
an elite first baseman with those bars at
Yeah, no, that's
first.
not a hot take at all because
And 6'3".
first basemen get
Yeah.
injured a lot less. I think that's a great call out. Like
Yeah.
you just you don't want to fuck this guy up so bad that he like plays 50 games a year. Like just put him at first base. Maybe even take his like running aggression down. Hopefully he hits homers and he doesn't run the bases. Uh,
Yeah. I'm just, what I said before, Mikey, is I'm surprised he's up. This team is not competing. And I always bring guys up when they're ready, but only if I'm in contention. And so I'm surprised to see this. I would teach him first base in AAA the first half of the year and then bring him up on call-up day if you're not competing.
yeah, I mean, I get worried about the morale thing and like maybe that prohibits dev, but I don't know. I don't think this guy with 18 at bats in double A was like pushing to get a role in the
Yeah.
majors or 18 games, excuse me, in double A. So I do think he could have used more seasoning. I'm guessing there's not a whole lot else to talk about Virginia. That's my this Baum guy is interesting, I guess, in that he's a catcher that can really hit. Can he field though?
No.
This is
And
just,
so what I was saying when you were gone is like, this is a guy you got to send to the lab every off season.
yeah. That's what I tried to do with Story, but he keeps failing. So maybe Birdo is doing the same thing, and it's just not working.
No, he didn't even try because you could see it now in the history with labs.
Well,
He tried to improve his
the
plate
call out
discipline
then.
instead. Yeah, he tried to improve plate discipline over defense.
No, Birdo.
Yeah.
That's no.
Ray Cook looks good as another young player. He's a top 100 spec.
Yeah, I
Um,
like Ray Cook. Also a corner
shouldn't be-
outfielder though.
Yeah. But he's playing. It's interesting. He's playing left, but the fragile guy's playing center.
I love this Ace Hill guy. You need to bat this guy lead off. This guy's a dog.
Yeah, Yeah, no, he looks good. So he has some nice young hitters. Not ready to compete, but the hitters look good. If you move to the pitching, it looks okay. Not
I mean, it
terrible.
looks. I
I
don't
mean,
know. It's not good. It's like a
it's not
bottom five
good.
staff.
I don't know. There's a lot more to see. Um, but I think they'll be better than a
This guy's okay.
59 win team they were last year, and I think they
Yeah.
could get to 65, maybe
65
even
is probably
70.
the number I had in mind.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it there. We'll move
All
on
right.
to the next division. Do they do East and then West? Is that how it works?
I think so. We can do whatever we want, but
Fuck. I kind of
we could
feel
do
like
that.
I know. I feel like East and then West. Like you leave one entire group hanging. Fuck that. Let's do a West division. Let's do
All
the
right.
White Sox division. Let's do
Let's
the
go.
representative of the SCS from the West.
Oh, goodness. All
So
right. I could kick us off.
yeah. So
Uh,
wait. I think
yeah.
do we start? Let's start off with St. Louis because they won
I,
the.
no, you start off with the SCS teams,
Okay,
no?
fine. We'll start off with yours. We'll start off with yours, Hot Shot. Let's hear your team. You could talk about last year, Lila. You could talk about this year, and then we'll go from there. I'll try to keep up with the cursor as you're speaking.
Okay. So last year we obviously made the SES, got swept. Three late inning losses was fun. And it was a fourth SES, 0-4. The team, the offense, had some. Biggest addition was PJ Wright, coming over from Pittsburgh. Really did it because I'm going to have some financial issues in the future with all these guys needing money. So he has 2 years of control this year and next. Probably won't re-sign him, um, but looking for that production. If he hit 300, 25 home runs, 100 plus RBIs, I'll be very happy. And then got the catcher out of Cuba, Leonardo Parado, which had a nice defensive lab. I don't know if you have that yet, but that was a nice improvement
I
and
have
should be
I have
better
55
than.
frame.
Yeah, I got it up to 60. I have
Nice.
65, 60, 65. Great personality, cheap contract, and should be better than Marshall Freeman, who just kind of fell off and can't bat anymore.
That is a great
Um,
contract. I agree.
Yeah, and I did a lot of contracts this last season.
That's
So
right. I
Ferguson is
noticed that.
extended for 5 years, perennial MVP type candidate, hopefully, uh, and
Gr-
just really running it back with some small additions. Ray and Parado got what's his name, Ramsey as a backup center fielder because both Grote and Ramsey will get hurt.
Yeah.
But I think the story with most White Sox teams is the pitching. So I'm pretty happy with the rotation. Paulson had a really good year last year and looking for him to take that next step and be an ace. Got him signed on a very team-friendly contract. 5 years, 55 million.
Yeah. No, a lot of your contracts
Yeah.
were really good.
Yeah, and he's durable. Lundqvist is an Iron Man. I love a lefty ground baller. I know he's fallen off a little, but he looks good.
No, in this game,
Will,
that feels pretty darn good. What Lundqvist
yeah,
is doing.
Wilbur is a profile that this game likes.
Yeah, Wilbur's really good.
Uh,
I think Wilbur might take a step up if I had to guess.
Yeah. And then
Um,
Hewlett's is solid for a number four. The control's not great, but the rest is good. And then Corson, I'm giving a shot. I know he's only a 45,
the
but I
tools look
signed
good.
him. The tools look
The
good.
pitches
He
look
had a
good.
dev last year, and the contract is ridiculously cheap. So pretty happy with that. I think the only
Yeah,
bullpen
wow.
should be fine. Nothing spectacular, but fine. The only other thing to note about the team is Colin Day, who
Colin Day.
might take the number 5 spot later this year.
Uh,
He was a top 10 prospect.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, top 10
he's
specs. He looks a lot
fit,
like Wilbur.
but better secondary pitches.
Yeah, no, this guy's gonna be really good. Top 10 specs that are like 50 75s. I feel like they always like hit. so I think this guy's gonna hit. You have a lot of
Yeah.
depth in AAA, I notice as well.
Yes. A lot of
So
pitchers that are actually young. This is my youngest AAA team I've had.
so
So
two other things I thought of. I kind of wish Alcorta hit a little better. I feel like the bars should be leading him to hit a
I
little
think
better.
he's going to break out. I know he's had a rough start, but the second half of the year last year, he took off because he was batting like 240, 250 and ended up 276. His BABIP rating is 70, and he has a 75 eye.
Yeah, I mean, I could see this guy with the right type of breakout year, like get to 5 WAR ish. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, no, he's like a plus defender at second too, like 5, 6 WAR maybe even. I don't know. Like this guy, he could be better. Are you regretting the Powell signing?
Not at all.
No, okay.
No. 20 million and 15 million?
Yeah, the front
Yeah.
load, the front load.
Yeah.
That's
I thought it was a good year. I told everyone I'm not expecting an MVP type player. He's an above average player. I needed some speed. I had no speed, and in this version, you need it. Hit 300, could play three positions. I taught him first base.
yeah,
And what I've been doing because of this version, I feel like how quickly players get tired is increased. So between Powell, McKinney, Ferguson, and Ray, I rotate the four of them, and each one gets a DH day and
yeah.
a first baseman day every single sim.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, I like the Ferguson deal. I'm a fan of front loading deals when you can. I think it
Yeah.
ends up yielding dividends more often than not. I don't know if the game just broke with River Grote or what, but that's pretty.
I didn't have any dev drops.
Yeah, that's like a
So,
crazy. I mean, I don't know if, from River Grote's perspective why he would do that, uh, but 5 years. 3.5 million is effectively no risk to you if he shits the bed like
no. And I want him to
2057.
be a backup. I want to get a better center fielder at some point, maybe next year. And
Yeah,
then 3.5 for a backup center fielder. Great.
very team friendly. I will say I thought your team was better than an 89 win team last year. Sometimes the game just bullshits you. I think I see this
Yeah, the
team
last 2 years,
being
I
closer to
just really
95 to even 100 is my guess. Um,
the Central's tough though. You'll see. This is a very improved Texas, and KC looks good in St. Louis.
St. Louis
So
looks pretty crazy. I
yeah,
mean, should we go to
yeah,
should we go to them with that in mind?
yes, dude, St. Louis. They are ridiculously stacked.
Yeah,
Um,
let's take a peek.
this was the best team in the West last year, I believe. 101 wins,
That's correct.
starting off 6-0.
Yeah,
And I
they're
love this
good.
team.
They're very good. They're very deep. Um, I would say amongst the deepest teams in the league for sure. Uh, they're deep enough
Yes
where
and no.
they're deep enough where they have like quality starters kind of just hanging out in the pen. I mean, this Jones
But the
guy.
problem is, I don't like their pen.
I for some reason I'm really high on this J.J. Jones guy out of the pen. I think those two pitches. I don't know actually. The left-handed splits maybe not that good. I mean everybody's
Yeah.
bullpen sucks. I kind of feel like going after someone's pen is doesn't mean much these days. But like Jorge Diaz, J.J. Jones, Nils Vanderbilt, these guys and no, not Bunch. These guys could all start on most teams, like as a legitimate
Yeah.
starter. I mean,
Yeah.
if Botson's out, I would guess that.
Only 6 people in the bullpen opening. That's pretty wild. But he did just sign Bernath.
Yeah, you got Bernath and Riley. Yeah, those are two
I
solid
like
ads.
Riley.
I do
Some
like
splits
Riley
issues
too.
again because the righty slider pitchers,
Riley had a
but
really nice year last year in Indianapolis.
not in KC though. When he got traded.
Oh, he went from Indy to KC.
Yeah, 5.56 ERA in KC.
Damn,
Um,
something in the
but
water
yeah,
over there.
but if you have to find a weakness, it's the bullpen. But yes, you could say that about a lot of teams. I mean, I think this is another
This
100-win type season.
this I mean,
No?
I don't know how I'm on Rick Shelley right now. I don't know how this guy hits like this. Like, this is pretty insane. This doesn't match the bars, but this guy, I guess, is an absolute dog. So, I mean, I think he got some flack last year for playing this Whitlow guy, like at leadoff or in the 2 hole. But this guy's hitting pretty well for him too as a DH, like
Yeah,
40%
that's an
above.
area he could improve
Yeah,
for
40%
sure.
above league
And
average. Barraza, Dawson, pure stars,
yeah,
like best in the league type
I
of
love
players.
Barasa.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Barraza too. I think Dawson is like absolutely nuts actually as well. Plus defense at third and an elite profile.
And then you have the MVP, Grimm, who,
Yeah,
wow, those bars really took a hit.
yeah. Was that just a new game thing? I think so,
It
right?
seems like both. Like his power took a hit this spring training to me,
Right.
down
Okay.
to 55.
Okay, I don't see that one, but
Wow.
yeah, Grim.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you can.
That's a rough contract, too.
I was about to say, I don't think you can feel bad about that deal because when he's healthy, he's still amongst the best shortstops in the game. And it's kind of, with this team, you just kind of have to be healthy
Yeah.
come
The
playoffs.
fielding took a hit, too, though. But yeah, I mean, he's still one of the best shortstops. But yeah.
Dan Moore's still a very quality player. I don't know why he's 50 overall. That's kind of seems silly to me. Um, and when he
Yeah.
had 55 contact with the same exact profile, he was 75 overall. I mean, okay game.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
But I think
I think if
still,
he gets a better DH and a better left fielder, this is an unreal team. And it already is a great team.
yeah, definitely a World
Yeah.
Series contender. Bernard has moved into a starting role. Had 2 really good starts to start the season. Wrecked. We'll see how long he holds up. Balboa, Shoop, lefties come at a premium. He's got 2 of like the best lefties in the league. Yeah, it's a good team. Very good team. A couple spots where improvements could be made, and they're kind of spots where it's cheap to make improvements, if that makes sense. Like DH and left field.
Yeah.
Could do so like you could do all that and then end up losing to the White Sox because that's just the way the West is. There's a lot of competitive teams, but I mean, as far as what Higgs can do, he's pretty much putting his best foot forward for a championship level team.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he still has a farm.
Yeah, as far
It's not an elite farm, but
decent.
it's not nothing.
Yeah, decent farm.
And Fuji, he takes a step up. I don't know if he'll make it to left field by call-up day, but that would be an upgrade if he has some big devs. Yeah. So, yeah, they look good.
Fuji's weird that he's only a 50 pot. The game is just so strange.
I don't know what's going on with overalls in this version, but yeah, I think it's another 100 type win team, but maybe
Yeah.
I'll say 95 because I think the Central's going to beat up on each other a lot, but we'll dominate outside. But he's 6-0 to start, so we'll see.
I'll give him 100. I'll give you like 97.
Fair? Yeah.
Next up is Kansas City. Let's go. You'd be remiss to bring up the. I keep clicking this fucking link. I just want to go to the team. You'd be remiss if you mentioned Kansas City without mentioning the now durable Hadley Smart.
Hell yeah.
A generational player, one might say. There
Yes.
was a point where Casey Matt was saying something like, you'd be an idiot to have a player like AR and not win a championship, but he's got a player that's probably, he's up there in the rafters for the best
7
players.
more seasons so far. MVP, durable center fielder. This is
That
legendary.
That
status.
steals 80 bases a season as well. Switch hitter, I mean.
Switch hitter, bats over 300.
Best of
That
the
50
best, man.
pop He's up to 50 pop. That could translate to 20 home runs. I
Yeah,
know it
he
hasn't yet.
agreed. I like Casey Matt's lineup. I think it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I like getting Norm Walker. It's always good to get production out of a
I'm
catcher.
I'm super curious about this guy that I had last year. I'm on starting pitcher Aaron Yeomans. He is a
I
65 overall as a starter. I'm curious if this is going to be another Hayden Nelson situation where this guy is just a stud.
I don't like it, but in this version, he's gonna be a stud.
Anything's
I hate it.
possible.
I hate it.
Yeah, he picked up
Yeah,
Leighton Rodriguez, who's had a very, very solid career, always been healthy. Yeah, you mean he's an Iron Man. I think he's finally
yeah.
dropping off. So I don't love this contract at 15 million, but maybe it works out. Uh, if you got money to
And
blow,
it's
you
just one
got money to
year.
blow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ramba and Manzanares, both quality arms. Manzanares last year, I would say, took off uh, in Kansas City. His
yeah.
best season of his career, and in the middle of a 3-year deal. So good for.
He's had three major arm injuries though, so you just gotta hope Manzanares stays healthy.
Oh, he's playing an actual two-way guy in the pen, Tanner Gibson. That's cool. This
That
guy,
is not a closer though.
this guy might be okay. I don't know. I think Casey Matt actually has a couple avenues to upgrade too. Um,
Yeah,
but really, I mean, I look at this team and I feel a wild card. I do like his catcher Norm Walker. He's one of the best in the business.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, he has a long non-playoff streak.
but that's what I was
It's
about to
been
say. It's
since
like we
2042.
didn't we feel like I feel like at some point last year you kind of felt this way about KC, like you felt this way about KC last year too, and like it just doesn't. I mean, he won 86 games. That's about as close as you can get.
Yeah,
I
and I
can't
think it will be similar this year.
I can't
I
recall
could see high
if this team
80s.
is better than the team last year. Um, it feels kind of similar. I mean, he added a big time catcher. I don't know who he was running at
He
catcher last
added,
year.
and then he also added, which was a lot of people didn't like the deal, but the soon-to-be 36-year-old Suarez, um,
This third
who I think he traded a second for. Um,
Suarez can hit though, right? Yeah. Um, okay, so maybe
he
this team's a
should.
little
Yeah.
better. Maybe 88, but who knows? Like you said, he has a long streak of not making the playoffs, and if you go all the way back to 2032, he has made the playoffs two times in 23 seasons.
You know what's interesting about 2032?
Is that the first
That's the
year you
year.
were in the league?
It's the year I joined the Central and the league.
There you go.
There you go. Coincidence? I don't
AJ
know.
has ended Casey Matt's entire existence. This Vince Verdugo guy at third base, I kind of like him. I feel like these bars might give him. You might get a couple WAR out of this guy.
Ooh, I don't like that defense.
You don't like this
But
D at third? I think it's actually good. 80 arm.
I don't do under 50 range personally.
Well, I
But
think I
yeah,
believe 80 arm is like the holy grail at third. Like you could
yeah,
play a 40 range guy and he'll be fine with 80 arm.
yeah. All
Uh,
right, and there are no specs. They did a quick check. Nothing.
okay, we'll go ahead and
It's
move
empty.
on. So I think the consensus there, fringe playoff team,
Yeah, wild card contention.
recent history suggests that they'll find a way to not make it, but it is possible. And with that, we'll go on to Houston.
And I'm gonna take a quick break because I'm on the clock. So if you could take Houston solo.
Okay, you got it. So Houston had a long playoff streak here in the late 2040s and early 2050s. I think I played them in the playoffs two times during this time frame. I think we split the series. I don't know. This DJ Stewart guy has come up.
Did you just say Serai?
Yeah, I don't know. This
I
DJ
love it.
Stewart guy has come up, and he's an absolute dog. Gonna be a really good hitter for a long time. Uh, I wonder how many home runs this guy will hit. I wonder what his on base will be. Good player. But I feel like some of this team is actually the same as that playoff era, but they're just like not quite the same on the new game. I mean, Typholt had a good year last year, but I think he used to be, yeah, he used to be like just a better player before we switched games. I feel kind of that way about Hayes too. I mean, Hayes is not bad. Actually, he kind of played up to his career averages last year. Um, Austin Mitchell was a guy whose bars I loved at one point. Still like him. I mean, he had a good year last year too. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass here. Um, but this team last year was like a 500 team. I feel like the lineup is actually kind of weak, all things considered. Um, yeah, I would confirm that after thinking about it a little more. DJ Stewart is really good. I would kind of maybe hit DJ Stewart second or fourth personally. Um, Pitching wise, I mean he's got some decent arms. Like Beauregard is decent, not great though. Kaufman was good one year and then last year struggled. We don't really know what he is. Fragile too, fly baller. You never know with these guys. Dozier wasn't Dozier really? No, I don't know. I don't know. He had this other arm that used to be really good. I can't remember who it was. Oh, McKenzie. This guy got neutered by the new game. So I would say his lineup is leaves room for improvement, and I feel the same way about his pitching. I think this team might will take another step back this year from like 80 wins to like 75 if I had to guess. He's kind of in a weird spot where I think it might be time to do a reset. Uh, on the farm, I like this guy, Ekins, top 20 spec. He's going to be good, I think. Switch hitter, too. Does he have splits? Maybe a little bit of splits, but they're the splits you want. Um, Mallory was the first round pick last year. Yeah, the 80 range guy. This guy will be interesting. Unfortunately, he's fragile. Uh, but we'll be curious to see how this guy and then the shortstop from the next team we're going to talk about, the Texas Rangers, Chevy Valdez, how those guys turn out. But I think Houston's kind of entering a bit of a reset period. Ooh, I like this guy a lot. Jason Kinney, he'll probably be up at some point this year. This guy could be a quality corner outfielder. Quality, durable, everyday corner outfielder. Very toolsy. No real weaknesses. Um, but yeah, I don't think Houston will be a playoff team. I think they're entering a bit of a reset phase. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Mikey, still making the pick, but I just realized one thing we forgot to discuss with KC was the big trade
The big trade.
for Kaufman from Boston.
Oh, where is this guy? Oh, he's
He's
injured.
on the IL. Remember?
He's also got Alex
that's-
Cordell.
Well, yeah.
And he'll have him
He's
probably
wrecked.
for a few.
But
for a few
Kaufman,
starts.
what's interesting, which was the big deal, and Boston only traded
2 firsts, right?
because 2 first and a spec, his only spec. That was a top 100 spec, I think. But he's not fragile.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes you see it.
Wait
like,
till after the injury.
Yeah, he comes back and
Yeah.
then it'll say fragile.
Okay. But if he stays normal, oof.
Yeah, I think ultimately this guy is worth 2 firsts, just because bars like this, like only 3 to 5 guys in the league have bars like this.
Yeah.
I like the swing for the fences, but I know that KC Matt like often has problems with depth like on his major league roster and depth on his farm. So it's an all-in move, and I can respect that. And I think with Kaufman, I would bump this to a playoff team. I did forget about this.
Hmm.
That's a great shout out. This guy is amongst the best in the business. OSA doesn't have him diving down yet. 25 years old. He's only accrued one. Is that right? Would this only be 1 year of service time, AJ,
For who? Sorry,
for
I'm
Kaufman?
looking at the draft.
Oh, you're good. Because he pitched one full season and then 14 starts last year. It
It
looks it
it
looks like it's
depends.
two.
I thought, yeah, no, he said two because
Holy
when
shit.
you're on the when you're on the IL, it still counts as service time, I believe.
Yeah, so it looks like Kaufman does have this is his last year on the minimum, then he'll have 2 years of
Yeah,
arbitration. And one
yeah.
thing we didn't say about Casey Matt is this man has every fucking player on his team like in a contract year. Like if you look at his salaries page, everybody is expiring. So this could this be a last hurrah? I
Well,
don't know. He'll free
here's
up a
the
lot of
interesting
contract
thing.
space. Go ahead.
Because he front loaded Smart in Rombo, he actually doesn't have a lot of money to play with next year. So he's losing like looks like 15 players, big names too. Three starters, Walker, Suarez, but he's only dropping like 40 million in salary
Right. I mean,
because of the front
these are
loads.
good front loads, but like
But
overall
it's like you got
value
to build
wise,
a
but
team
maybe it
around
didn't
around
make sense for next year.
right. Yeah.
Um, okay, but
So we'll see.
I'm gonna go back to the next team we're gonna talk about, but I appreciate that call out. The next team is the Rangers, I think, who have had a very busy off season. And I think Texas, God dang it, I clicked on the link again. Texas Sam is right on the precipice of competing. That I truly believe that's the case. I think Texas Sam's lineup is really fucking good right now, and he has reinforcements on the way too. Like Briggs, good player. Hugo Busso, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He is gonna hit a lot of freaking home runs. This guy's gonna be hella good. This guy probably will hit like 40 to 45 bombs. Stanley Gamble, one of the best players in the league. Edward Blake, huge dev up. This guy's gonna be insane. Like I'm really excited about this team. I think they're gonna be good sooner rather than later. He did trade that good center fielder he had, Tally, in the big deal for Romano. But I mean, Romano is like the holy grail of pitchers. Like durable, 80 stuff, 65 control, 65 movement, 55 control, or 50 control. Who cares? Like that's not gonna walk anybody. This guy is insane. This guy's the best in the business. This team is borderline a playoff team this year. I think so. I think this team is going to take a big jump. And guess what? Even if they don't and they like end up being like a 500-ish team, it doesn't matter because he's going to have like Moretta, Shear, decent mid to back of rotation arms. He's going to have like an ace in Romano. And then he's also got a bunch of specs still in the pipeline. He signs this international guy, top 5 spec, pretty insane. Chevy Valdez. The bat profile is a little weird on this guy, but I think the fact that he's top 15 tells you all you need to know. This guy is going to be like a generational defender probably. And if he's just even if he sniffs 100 OPS, at 80 OPS, this guy's like a 4-WAR player. So this guy's super valuable. This guy, Garis, will be up in the bigs this year. Edward Blake, absolute savage already. He's on the opening day roster. Gardner's a big deal because I'd say the one thing Sam needs to improve on is pitching, like in the long term. But he's also got Dominic Richards, who is a very fun profile. Honestly, this guy's knocking on the door too. So Sam, where would he play this guy? He would play him. Oh, very interesting. I don't know where we'd play this guy. I think you dump Matt Cain, who's not a bad player himself. You dump Matt Cain and you play Richards in center. Is that right? I don't know. I don't know. That's something to think about. This guy probably maybe can't hang in center field, but he doesn't have a corner spot open right now. Uh, so we'll see what he does there. I'll be curious. I'll be curious to see. Cowboy Bear is a good signing. Peter Geis is a good signing. This is a good team. I have this team as a sleeper wildcard team this year, and I think that their long-term prospects are very, very good too. Um, Even like some of his arms in his bullpen, which I don't say about many teams, except this guy. This guy absolutely blows. 30 control. It is what it is. But I like Moreta. He had a good start last year to the season. 2 WAR in 10 starts. Something to keep an eye on. I don't think the bars are that good, but maybe he's one of those overperforming types like that douchebag on San Diego, whatever his name is. In fact, I'm going to pull that guy up right now because I hate him so fucking much. This guy, give me a fucking break, dude. What a joke game this is. And die. That's how I'm gonna pronounce his name because I want this guy to die. Uh,
I'm not even listening fully, but I heard that name and it drives me nuts that that profile
yeah,
works.
it's I'm gonna stop before I get too upset. But yeah, his shortstop will be like Lovell soon, I think. Yeah, Lovell will be up before Valdez. This guy might be okay. I mean, yeah, Sam has room for improvement, but he can also just take his time because his team is young. His team is going to be good for a while. I'd say this team has one of the brighter long-term prospects in the league. So that's my glowing review of Texas. And I think I'm still on my own, so we can keep going.
Sorry.
The next team, which is the last team in this division, the Chicago Cubs, who were the worst team in the league, I believe, last year. And I clicked on the link again. Chicago, they're rebuilding. They should have got the number 1 pick, I believe, but they ended up dropping to like 7, which that sucks, but that's the way the lotto works. He gets. Where did this guy come from? Did he trade for Zweifel, or did he trade something away and get Zweifel back? Because if he traded for Zweifel right now, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Um, Minks, maybe a signing that he can trade like at the deadline. But, I mean, this team sucks. Oh, Tilson Vargas, man. Get this guy to a good team. Just sell him. There's no reason for this guy to be on your team. Sell him for 2 firsts. Someone might pay that. This guy's team control, durable, room to grow. Someone might pay that, and you should sell him. Got a couple of guys. I'd say his pitching staff is actually pretty good, but they're all like probably trade fodder types, which is fine. Maybe they build some value at the deadline. They net him another like first or a couple firsts. That'd be awesome. That'd be smart moves by Jeff. But Jeff's gonna suck again this year. We'll take a quick look at his pipeline. Pipeline's pretty young. The closest guy is this Hewler guy, probably a first baseman, unfortunately, but still an interesting profile. Yeah, so Jeff has a ways to go. I think the biggest thing for him this year will be seeing if he can trade Vargas for a good package, as well as building value for guys like Minks, Peterson, Stevenson, and Zweifel for other trades. I think he could pick up a lot of value for those guys if things go well. Especially Vargas, especially Zweifel. Both these guys are super valuable. But I'll leave it there. That's the
I'm back.
That's the Central Division. I think before I hand it off to you, AJ, I would say I've got St. Louis first, Chicago second, but that's going to be kind of a closer race than people may think. Then I've got Kansas City, followed closely by Texas. That's my hot take prediction. Then
I
Houston,
agree with that.
then
I
Chicago.
like what Texas is doing.
Yeah, Texas
Yeah.
Texas has been killing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what division should we go to next? Maybe one more and call it.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I can do one more. Should we go to the?
Back to the east, maybe, or
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we do the North and just go in order for the screen, or should we do the Great Lakes?
let's do the north. The
Um,
Great Lakes
okay.
blows. Uh, yeah, we'll start off with the top team in the North last year, which I would say was a little unexpected that they were good that quickly. But the Yankees,
Damn
if you
Yankees.
want to take it away.
Oh God. Okay. Uh, what did they do last year? 93 wins. Um, they have a really good young catcher, Declan Leader, who did not win Rookie of the Year.
Whew, that's a
I
crazy
think
season.
I think I voted for him for Rookie of the Year, but I think he finished runner up.
That's a filthy
Um,
season.
and
He
he was third in MVP,
so he
which is, I think, the
sorry.
closest any catcher has gotten since Massengill, I think, was a runner up a while ago. Sorry, what were you going to say, Mikey?
No, I was gonna say what's crazy is he lost Rookie of the Year to his teammate Enzo Aponte, and Enzo
Yes.
Aponte is also a rookie. Enzo Aponte finished second in MVP voting. So
I put him number one, I remember,
his boy
for
stole it
Rookie
from
of the
him.
Year.
What a crazy season. 43 dingers, 75% above league average. And that's with him playing a shitty left field too. So who
Hmm.
knows? Maybe this guy at I mean, I don't know. Maybe you fucking try him at first base. Maybe you just DH him. But there's this guy is one of the best bats in the league. It looks like.
Oh, yeah. He could play a really solid first base, too. So that's a nice young core with Aponte and Leader, but everyone's pretty young, right? You go to Frank Prickett. He's a really damn good second baseman.
Cricket.
Second baseman with 60 power and above plus defense. Should be a little steal.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Soler is a solid player too. I wish he ended up a little bit better. This guy used to look insane.
I know when he was a spec, he looked crazy, and he's very splitty. He's way better against lefties.
I like his center fielder quite a bit. I think he's really fragile. Maybe that's kind of what it seems. But
Yeah,
I
only
like the
26.
bars here. I think he should be better if he stays healthy. He got Elazar Ramirez in free agency. Very good pitcher. Somehow last year, one of the most interesting things I've seen. This guy had 5.6 WAR while an under 100 ERA plus, which means his FIP must have been off the charts. His FIP minus was 74. So this guy on the in the right team might be one of the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah, but it was smart. Front loading the contracts since you have so many young guys on
Right.
minimums and just getting the best available.
Yeah,
Um,
Ripon, young.
31, durable, lefty. I like it.
Yeah, he could improve the back end of his rotation, but I'm sure he knows that, and that's maybe something he's gonna keep an eye out on. Maybe one more bat too. Uh, I
Eh,
feel like I was a little surprised that they won 93 last year. I think they could regress a little bit to like 90 or 87 to 90, but I still think it's gonna be a wild card team.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to improve the team. That probably won't even be too costly, right? Because you think about first basemen and DHs, those usually don't have much market value because there's so many of them. And unless he really likes these young guys, I mean, they're not that young. Mejia, I don't like that profile. Um, and Rojas, I don't like that profile either. These are guys that have no BABIP. So it's like home run, strikeout, walk types, which is fine. But I think he gets a higher batting average there. that would be good.
I feel like Mejia would be actually valuable as a catcher, but as a DH, I don't know.
He is valuable as a catcher for sure.
I know,
He's
but he's
very
not. But he
splitty as
doesn't
well.
start at catcher. He starts at DH because they have
Well, he has leader, who's even better.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Yeah.
there's
So trade him.
Yes, there's some value to be
Yeah.
unlocked for another team, and maybe Jakob can sell that as such. But yeah, a good team. They have a couple other specs coming up soon in Arlen Florence and Vernon Jones. Both look pretty good. Vernon Jones maybe can't play the field, but he can. He looks like he can hit. And Arlen Florence is a very toolsy guy. Big fan of this guy. He was a first rounder last year. Oh, second overall pick. Damn. Okay, I didn't remember that. But he unsuccessfully completed training to improve his base stealing technique. So he's a dummy. But then he did the thing that's actually important and boosted his power. So good for him. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the Yankees.
Yeah, there's anything else to say? High 80s.
Yeah,
Wild
high
card
80s,
team.
low 90s.
But if he makes some moves and improves DH first base and gets 2 big power bats, I think power bats that could hit for a decent average, I could see low 90s.
Yeah, and this division sucks, frankly, so there might be some extra wins to be gamed from the shitty division. But the other team in this division that does not suck, because they never suck, that is the Toronto Blue Jays.
They tried to fake us out thinking that they were rebuilding, but no.
Yeah, I don't really feel like Amin is the type of person to sell pieces unless someone pays out of their ass for them, and he gets that sometimes. But otherwise, he's not gonna like Fresno David, where it's like fire sale. I'll go, like you want to give me a second for prime Zach Pryor? Sure, I'll take it. I don't give a fuck. That's not Amin's style.
Right.
He's got a pretty darn good team. Again, I would say. I would say
he had a devastating injury at the end of last year to Alvarado, who was having a MVP type season.
Right.
Before he
the
got
bars
hurt.
on this gentleman are beautiful. He, again, I would say one thing that's pretty consistent with Amin's teams, good depth. He is a good amasser of major league talent and a deep squad. And I feel that again this year. Good pitching rotation. Not, I would say not great, but it's good. It's good. Like, it's good enough for a playoff team. Alvarado, Rosales, Bice, 3-4-5, pretty filthy. I think, honestly, other than that, his lineup kind of leaves room for improvement. This Mike Asawang guy can't play shortstop. That's just not going to work. He's already -1 ZR. Maybe he's got a shortstop hiding in the wings. Dylan Wynn probably is his starting shortstop. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, he's fragile, too. Yeah, that's not...
Maybe Amin is doing some signing shenanigans. We'll see. But yeah, this team, I feel kind of similar about this team that I feel a
As the
similar
Yankees?
way with the Yankees. Yes, thank you for saving me there. Dahlman was his big signing of the offseason, $20 million for 3 years. $20 million each year for 3 years, so 3 years, $60 million. I don't like giving a reliever that type of money, no matter who the fuck he is. But we'll see. I feel like that's just such not an Amin move. So it kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe.
But, as you said, everyone's bullpens suck, and this guy in the new version has been a sure thing.
True. I like this Prado guy, but he's extreme fly ball, so he might suck. I don't know. Yeah, I mean his bullpen kind of honestly looks better than what other people are running, but who the
Yeah.
heck knows with the bullpens these days? But yeah, I feel really similarly to the Yankees with this team. I assume he's got a pretty deep pipeline because he always does, and yeah, he does. But I wouldn't say there's anybody like super big time knocking at the skyline door. So I think he's gonna stick with his guns, ride it out. Honestly, if this team wasn't in the North, I don't know if I would say that they would fall out of the playoffs, but I could see them finishing under 90 wins in another division. But I think they'll finish
Oh, I
above.
completely agree.
I think they'll finish above
we haven't
90 in the North.
we haven't seen the rest of the division yet, but from what I remember, like I think the Yankees and Blue Jays could get into the playoffs again because the rest of the division. But let's move on. Who was next?
So next
was it
will be
Montreal?
that's the Red
Or
Sox.
Mets?
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox finished third?
The Red Sox finished tied in third with Montreal, but they are above them in the standings.
Let's go.
Yeah, so the Red Sox big move was the Kaufman trade, which we touched on earlier. 2 firsts. I mean,
And a spec.
yeah, 2 firsts and a spec. I don't know who the spec is. I'm assuming it's someone good. So let me look at the top.
I think it was someone decent, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. I
You
don't
go
know.
to Kaufman, you can see it.
This Fishman guy is fucking good. This third baseman of theirs. He is a really good player. Good for Boston for getting this pick to work out. Third rounder work.
Never mind. The spec was Trevor Mueller, who's ranked number 29. Right now looks like a first baseman, and looks like Casey tried to improve his defense and it didn't work. But this person needs a little more range.
Yeah, this person seems like that they're operating fully on the like spec ranking, hoping the spec ranking means he's gonna be good. It might. I don't know. But yeah, he's gonna have to move to first base. Maybe he'll be good, maybe he won't. Top 30 spec, can't argue with that. There's maybe something more there that we're not seeing. But Boston pretty much, I was just looking at them. They pretty much suck pretty badly, except for this Bryce Fishman guy hitting third, who I'm a really big fan of.
Yes. That's going to be a 300, 315, 320 type hitter. Maybe hit 20 home runs, play good defense. I really like that profile. Normal double spray, which I put a lot of weight into.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it looks
The
like
rest
some
of
of
the
his
offense, ugh.
looks like some of his recent draft picks have hit in that they're top ranked specs, and I know he picks towards the top of the draft most years, but maybe there's some sort of pipeline developing here at some point. I mean, 2 firsts for a good pitcher. If you're trying to rebuild, and frankly, there's no reason to have Kaufman on this team, right? If he did have Kaufman,
Yeah.
so getting 2 firsts and a top 30 spec, can't get too mad.
Yeah. I think this team is 74 wins. Yeah. I think it's more of the same, low 70s.
Yeah, I might say high 60s.
Wow.
But let's move on to the next team, which is the Expos. The Expos had a down year last year. And I keep clicking on this, man. This game is a joke. Let's go to... I'd say the Expos' biggest move of the offseason, obviously trading away Romano, getting Michael Talley and Junior Pennington. Junior Pennington looks like a savage spec, too. He's top 5. This guy, I think, is going to end up really, really good. I think Expos maybe end up happy with this, and I think Texas maybe ends up happy with this too. One of those deals. Tally could be better. I think Tally should be better. He's durable. He's all you can ask for in center field. Maybe a breakout year coming for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, what was he last year? 275 batting average. I mean, yeah, that sounds right. Maybe up to 300.
So
Yeah, durable is nice.
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that player. The Stratton signing is nice. Lepak, I don't know how did he get him for $8 million? Oh, he got him a long time
It was
ago.
a front-loaded deal,
Okay.
but it's still, I remember because I was bidding on him too, blew my mind because he was asking for like 23 a year, and he got him on a 3-year deal for like what, 15 a year essentially.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this: the Jocks group of position players 1 through 9 is a very sharp group. This Lee guy, really good hitter. I think. I mean, he probably does have to hang at DH, but it doesn't matter. He's a really good hitter. Tracy Dyer is a very good player every year. Lester Flores, good hitter. Ottman, good hitter. Ottman was the guy that I was thinking that San Diego traded away a while back and didn't get a ton for him back, if I'm not mistaken. But then the shortstop looks pretty good too. Catcher looks decent. Catcher's a solid player as far as catchers go. So what it looks like he's doing again is the classic Jock, which is, put up a good team and just put together some fancy schmancy thing in the bullpen.
I hate this pitching. Oh, this is what he did when he joined the league.
Yeah, he's even done this recently too. His bullpen's pretty good. But
the starters.
The starters suck, but he gets good performances out of them. I believe in this. It's silly, but it's the way the game kind of works. I think.
Oh, I know. I lost to this strategy in the SDS with like a 35-year-old Tyler Perman, or a 35 overall Tyler Perman. Never forget. But yeah, and in this game, I feel like this strategy with these lefty ground ballers who have no pitchers works even better.
Yeah, right. Look at John Sullivan last year. This profile is fucking garbage. You can't run this profile. But somehow in 26 starts, heavily managed such that I assume Jock either does like a 60 pitch count or like 18 batters faced or something. I don't know what he does, but he does something like that. I mean, he got 2 WAR. This guy pitched a 3.58 ERA. I don't know. The game is just different, I think, for some people. Sometimes it feels like that. But realistically, Jock's bullpen is pretty good. He's got talent. Whaley's good. This Jacob Howard 24-year-old looks really good. He's probably also got a future as a starter. This guy's unironically a good player, not just a bullpen good player. Ben Williams blows. I swear to God, if Ben Williams is good this year on Montreal after being bad last year for me, I'll be upset.
You can't pitch to lefties. You have a lefty lineup. Ben Williams gets destroyed. That should still be true. The splits look terrible.
Well, I hope so.
Corso is awful, but that is another profile that seems to do well.
I think hate us maybe hating on this strategy aside, the lineup is quite good.
Yes.
He does have good bullpen pieces. This is a playoff team, I think. This is probably a 80.
I don't put him in the echelon with the Blue Jays or Yankees. So.
I think it's kind of close, actually. I think it's
mid-80s.
I would say mid to high 80s, could break into low 90s if the shenanigans goes crazy. But again, the lineup is unironically good. 1 through 9, it's a very deep lineup.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick look at his prospect pipeline as we're wrapping up here. Pennington, really fucking good. That guy's going to hit, I think. Dennis is really good too. Pierre Bacca, I don't know. Maybe he's French, maybe he's not. This guy's got a ridiculous eye, but I kind of actually hate this guy, even though he's a top 10 spec. Giuliano. No, he's got a good pipeline too. This Noah NG guy, I'm not gonna say that word because I don't know how I would say it without sounding racist. So, um, no, yeah, Noah NG, he looks good too. Britt Williamson, no, this is a good pipeline, and these guys are close. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all 22, 23. They're ready to come up a call up day. Yeah. So that could help second half push.
Yeah, Britt Wilson, kind of this guy. I think at the very least is gonna end up a lefty killer, but I think he's got a very toolsy kit as well, and that may make him an everyday player in a corner spot at some point. But yeah, no. I think Jock actually has a couple arms that'll be up this year that'll help him actually in a starter role. I'm gonna up my prediction to about 90. I'm gonna up my
I'm
prediction to
still
90.
probably. I'll go to 88.
Okay, so maybe two more, I think. Three more? Let's see. Two more.
Two more. Mets
Mets
or Tigers?
and so Tigers first, then Mets to wrap it up. So Detroit has been taken over by Jason. Jason, I would say, I don't want to say he struck out on his recent rebuild with the Pirates. I would say he did get impacted pretty negatively by the game switch. The way he built his pitching was not conducive to success in the new game. He did piss out a lot of good position players, as he often does, which it seems like kind of now is getting revamped by the new GM Etienne. But we'll get there when we get there. We're talking about the Tigers now. The Tigers, have Lunsford and Ross and Idirat, so I guess they're just a remake.
It's a nostalgia team.
A shitty remake of the World Series winner Pirates from like a decade ago. This team, there's not a ton to write home about. Maybe some pieces you can look to trade. Maybe this like Jed George guy has value in the rotation, but you never know with 50 movement. Jason Martinelli. No, Jason Martinelli's good. The lefty ground baller bullshit always works. This guy's good. This guy should be traded for like a. I don't know if anyone will give up a second for him, but you could definitely get a third for this guy. No, I think someone might give up a second for this guy because he's also on a good. He's on a good contract too, durable. Someone desperate. Maybe this guy ends up going to the Expos and joins that lefty ground baller rotation.
I think Rush could be a good trade chip because they're not trying to win, right?
No. I think
they just sold that
Schmidt.
starting pitcher, right?
They just sold Schmidt and they got a big return. Was it 3 firsts?
I think it was 3 firsts. Yeah.
Kind of. So I'm gonna real quick just scroll over to Schmidt on San Francisco. I mean, honestly, Schmidt getting 3 firsts is a stellar return, considering Kaufman got 2 firsts.
2 firsts and a top 30 spec.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of equivalent.
Yeah, and I guess Schmidt is durable.
Schmidt's also durable.
Yeah. So maybe it's pretty reasonable. I guess the market doesn't lie. I think Tarlow wouldn't even really care about us talking about his MLB team. It's pretty bad. That's okay. He's got this Alan Zimmerman guy leading off who's pretty good. I don't know if I'll trade him if he's doing a full rebuild or not. Herman Hearn, another guy that can sort of hit in the 2-hole. 2 young pieces. That's kind of all I'm going to talk about. Oh, Julian Loop. Julian Loop might be good. He's 25, so I think he might be done deving, but the bars look kind of interesting. High power, high eye. I'm going to go ahead and move to his pipeline now, unless you got anything else to add.
No, nothing else to add. I was looking through the pipeline because Hearn is still on there. I was curious why he is up right now. I know he's 24 and a half, but he only played 6 games in AAA last year. And if you're not winning,
Yeah, maybe take the
why?
take the half
Yeah,
take the extra service here or whatever. Yeah, I don't
I'd
know. I
probably
think
teach him first base too.
it's not really his farm yet. He had that because Tarlo is a rebuilding menace, and when he rebuilds for 5 6 years, he will typically have a good team for the next 4 years. So we'll see. And not just a good team, a championship team. Can't argue with the rings. So the last team left is the Mets. Are the Mets? Um, I don't know why don't you start us off with these guys?
Sorry, having a snack right now. Let's see. Their big off-season acquisition was Dan's favorite pitcher, Otano. They did a 3-year, $81.6 million deal, which is wild, but solid pitcher in this version. The splits aren't as bad, I guess. I don't know. They still look bad to me. But that's an interesting move, and you only do that if you're trying to win. Uh, the only problem with that is I don't know if this team can win. Santiago is towards the end of his career. Still a good pitcher for probably another 1 or 2 years. But I don't know. I don't see it. I know he tried to piecemeal some players in free agency on offense, as he usually finds some good value. I've noticed over the years, but I mean, Fee Durrell is your starting DH. I know the bars look okay. I mean, I've had him in my system for 3 years. He's not good. He won't hit. And Loya was a free agent signing, batting. Where is he? Lost my place. But I don't know. I don't like it, Mikey. What do you think?
You don't like the Mets? Sorry, I was looking
No.
at my phone.
Oh, you're good.
I like
No,
Otano. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying. The Otano move was curious because I don't see this as a playoff team to spend all that money. Like that was a huge contract. Was that the biggest pitching contract this offseason?
It was up there for sure.
Yeah.
Otano is quite good, um, but it's is it untradeable at 50%? No, it's definitely tradable at 50% retained. It's like a positive
Oh, for
asset.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I do agree this is not a playoff team. I don't think it's like a terrible team. There's some decent pieces here. Santiago's
No,
a
I could see this being a like 77 to
yeah,
82 win
yeah,
team.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of like this Jock Gray guy if he can hold his control together, but I mean, it looks like he sucks, so it shows what the hell do I know. No, yeah, no, this team might be a little worse than I thought. It might be a little worse. Maybe I might take that back to like 75 to 77. Not a great team. Javin Hall, he had a couple really good years. Actually, he had a good year last year too. Still a good player. He's expiring. We'll see what he does with him. Alonso Morales looks a decent first baseman with room to grow. So a couple pieces. A lot of teams have a couple pieces. Take a quick look at his pipeline. We got
Yeah,
one
and while
guy
you're
that
doing that,
one guy that looks like a really good player in this Conrado Greenlee guy. Um, Durable, kind of that Archer Carroll, Hadley Smart, Sheldon
yeah,
Self batting profile. Not a premium position player, but I mean, hell, he can run. He can probably hang in a corner. This is a really good player if it works out. So I'm rooting for this guy. Top 15 spec, really good sign too. That's kind of it in terms of guys that are close. There's some good pieces for the long term, perhaps. Steve Wiley is an interesting one. He was a first rounder last year, just outside the top 100. Catcher framing of 70, and then big possible power. I feel like these types of guys never work out, but if it does, this is a very cool player to have. Um, yeah, that's kind of it. Maybe I missed something, and if I did, I'm sorry, and that goes for any of the teams out there. But yeah, I think the Mets will finish. I mean, I think we'd probably both be in agreement. It's like somehow, I'd say maybe Toronto a little bit of an edge over the Yankees. Yankees at 2, Expos at 3, but Expos could make a move for 2. Um, then, man, it's hard to rank Detroit, Boston, and the Mets. I'll say the Mets, I'll say the Tigers, and then the Red Sox.
That's fair. I think I would. Top three is the same. I I'd go Red Sox, Mets, Tigers. I really think Tarlo's just gonna sell every asset he has, right? He even put that in Slack recently, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah, depending on how that goes, that could adjust it. Um, but yeah, that being said, I think we are at time for today. That was an hour and a little over an hour and a half for the three divisions. I think that's pretty much the expected timing.
yeah,
Sorry to
yeah.
the teams we didn't get through tonight. They will be went over at some point. I It won't be me if it's. It won't be me tomorrow. It won't be me Thursday. So it sounds like it may not be me in general. Um, but I'm sure someone will pick up the mantle and finish us off and take us through the Pacific, the Northwest, and the Great Lakes, the 3 divisions remaining. And then I'll also leave the responsibility on them to talk about the predicted winners of the East and the West, and award voting and that sort of mumbo jumbo. But yeah, AJ, thanks for jumping on. It was fun talking to you, catching up, and it was fun talking about Sky.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign us off.